In today's video, I want to talk more about how music can help our well-being and how we can use it in our daily lives to support good well-being, especially at the moment, while I'm filming this during the COVID-19 pandemic, and in the UK, we're back in the third lockdown. But I wanted to take a little bit of a step back in my own journey. So it wasn't until probably the last year of my degree in music that I started to realise the importance of music for our well-being. And I think, it's quite true for a lot of us that we might be taking sort of music for granted, that, we might have the radio on, or we might listen to music in the car or in the shower or wherever you listen to it. And I think often we might not realise the impact that it's having on us. And this was definitely true for me. So, for me, music had always been a big part of my life. I started playing the clarinet when I was 12, and it was something that I'd always wanted to learn. So from a young age, I grew up with classical music through my parents, and I became fascinated by the clarinet, and it was something that I'd always wanted to learn. So my mum and dad said that I could learn the clarinet when I started secondary school, and when I turned 12, if I still wanted to learn it, I could start. And so I did, and I started having lessons. I was part of the school orchestra. As I've said in other videos, we toured around, and music was always a big part of my life. I listened to albums and CDs, and I've said in other videos about sharing CDs with my friends. But I think all of this stuff was happening, and it was part of my life, but I didn't realise just how integral it was to my well-being. And I think this is something that we're all probably guilty of, if that's the right phrase. But that music's part of our life. We listen to it, but we don't realise the impact that it's having on our well-being. So it wasn't until the last year of my music degree when I started studying a module in music psychology. And that was then when, for me, I felt that I started coming into this area of specialism. So I'd sort of gone through my music degree, a lot of it around performance and around classical music. But it wasn't until this music psychology module that I think it suddenly clicked with me, was that, I was using music in my own life. I was listening to music. I was, without realising it, I was supporting my well-being through the music that I had on and the music that I was choosing. And then looking more at music psychology and seeing, how music listening can affect the brain. This then started to kind of, I guess, light my curiosity, if that's a way to word it, around actually how can we all use music in our daily lives. So, taking the research and the science behind the power of music and its impact on well-being, and then actually looking at, well, how can we use music in our daily lives to support well-being. So I guess kind of the point of this video is that I want us to sort of start exploring, how we can use music in our own lives. And it's so subjective. So in my PhD research and a lot of my work is in dementia care, and a lot of my teaching is around supporting caregivers to see music as a subjective activity, and something that can be embedded within dementia care, but at an individual level. So looking at what music is meaningful for the individual, and then how you can engage together through a shared experience of music. So that's kind of my academic research interest, but I want to take this out to all of us, and for us all to be looking at the ways that that we can use music throughout our day, and being a little bit more in control of that, I think, which at the moment is more important than ever, I think. With more of us being at home, and we're all working from home and schooling at home, and kind of living on top of one another. it's actually looking at the ways that you can use your music listening to alter that environment, to create a space for you. You know, you might not have the physical space to be separate or to have that kind of time and space to yourself, but you can create that through the music that you're listening to. And I've said before about bone conducting headphones. You know, even if you don't have these, normal headphones or playing music on the Google or, you know, whatever you have. But I guess the main thing is thinking more about how we can use music, and how you can use music to support your well-being throughout the day. So I hope that this video has been useful. It's giving you a little bit more of an insight about perhaps my own journey. And I think, you know, a lot of us are in a similar position of taking music for granted, perhaps, or maybe feeling that we don't fully utilise the power of music, I guess. And I don't want that to sound a kind of a hooky claim, but it is powerful. And we can use it to match our mood, to lift our mood, you know, whatever we need to create a space for our own well-being, for kind of self-care as well. So take time out today to think about how you might be using music throughout your day to support your well-being. I'm always here if you've got any questions. You know, as you can tell, hopefully, I love talking about this topic. And I'm really keen for the power of music to be out there, and for it not to just be something that researchers talk about, but actually to look at how we can take that research and put it out there into the wider public, for us all to look at how to use music. So do drop me a message if you ever want to chat about this. And as always, I love hearing about what you're listening to, how music is affecting you right now. It's really important to get this conversation going and to keep connected during this disconnected time. Have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next video.